We're going to start with some sound demos, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts at the very end. All right, let's talk about the Kernom Ridge. We're going to check out to see what this Kernom Ridge can do. We're going to go from light overdrive, and then we're going to see how heavy it gets. This is my clean tone. So right into my Fender Supersonic amp, and just with a tad of reverb on it. And here we go with the Kernom Ridge. All right, so it's starting out beyond clean. Not hearing too much noticeable difference from my actual clean tone. So this is just at the edge of the first section on the mood knob with the drive on max. So really nice, got a great sound to it. I'm starting to hear some differences. Now, before we leave the first section on that early stages of the mood, I'm going to go through post and pre-tone. So I'm on the neck pickup with my tone all the way up on my Strat. And here's what it sounds like with the post and pre knob at 12 o'clock. Alright. Post tone turned all the way down. Pre-tone all the way down. Okay, still usable, very pillowy. Now let's go post tone all the way up, pre-tone all the way down. Other way around. All right. Post and pre all the way up. Definitely gets a hi-fi kind of thing. Alright, mid knob all the way up. As you'd expect, scooped. Alright, so this is where it's going to stay the rest of the time while we play with the mood and the drive, maybe the volume a bit. But mid, straight up and down, pre and post tone, just a little bit past 12 o'clock. Or rather, I guess about 1 o'clock. So now we're going to start moving up the mood knob and seeing where we get. So let's leave the drive on max while we move along the mood knob. So you can hear it change, and I know it's doing something. I don't know exactly what, but so it got pretty crunchy right away. I know the drive's all the way up, but that's just so we can see. So right over that line on the mood knob. It sounds really good. Alright, let's take it to halfway through or a little better on the first section, or on the second section. Drive at 3/4. Okay, coming into the third section. So this section is really trebly. It's got a neat sound to it, though. Okay, going into the third section. They're getting quite overdriven. little later in the mood knob. All right, into the last section. As you'll notice, we enter this last section, it seems to be less high gain overdrive and into this kind of battery drained kind of, low amps sound. Kind of hear it as it fades off, and this is full mood knob all the way up, drive all the way up. So it doesn't feel like it heads towards fuzz. And I really like this sound. I like that sagged sound to it. But it doesn't really feel like it gets into the fuzz territory. And I've heard that on a lot of reviews that I've watched of the Kernom as well. So but I think that this drained battery fuzz or drained battery overdrive sound is a bigger selling point to me personally. Like, I like that a lot. And I didn't know that that's what the final stages of the mood knob was. So I was really pleasantly surprised. I like that sound. All right, let's get to some final thoughts. So I really like the Kernom Ridge. I like what it does. And I don't mind what it doesn't do. And I think that that's an important factor to think about when you're buying a pedal. What does it do, but what doesn't it do? And are you okay with that? And why I like the Kernom Ridge specifically, and there's a few other pedals on the market that fill this why I like the Kernom, but specifically why I like the Kernom Ridge is because it takes away my preconceived notions about what I think that I know about overdrive, And it takes away all my preconceived notions about me feeling like, oh, I don't identify with that pedal, but I do identify with this pedal. And it just makes me listen. The Kernom Ridge just makes me listen. Basically, it teaches me that I don't know about overdrive and I just need to listen. And why do I say that is because my favorite overdrive that I have is the Morning Glory. And I really like that pedal. But more than that, it's reliable. The tone is really usable. And I know it really well. But that makes me feel like, oh, I identify with blues breakers. And I feel like I don't identify as much with, hard clipping overdrives. But what the Kernom does is, again, it just makes me listen. So when I have a track on the go and I set the Kernom on my desk, instead of saying like, okay, I'm going to go right to the blues breaker and start, messing around with it from there, I just start turning the mood knob. I just start, I start with the mood knob all the way down and I just start turning it. I just start turning all of the drive and the mood knob until I hear something sweet. And here's what you get when you do that. There are overdrive types that I would never personally give a chance to. I would never spend money, on something like that, so I would never have one, let's say, that I pull up the exact same tone on the Kernom and all of a sudden I'm loving it. And, it's an interesting thought, and maybe I'll just conclude with this. But in the age of, Netflix and streaming websites, you can go through Netflix and you can start a movie and you can lose interest in that movie within, 2 to 5 minutes and just shut the movie off. And it's no loss to you. You didn't pay for that specific movie. You're just going to move along. And I feel when I'm surfing around on the Kernom, I kind of feel like that. It's like, when you go out and buy an overdrive, you're like, oh, I hope I like this a lot. And I told you earlier, I've played a Protein and I used to have one, and I used to have a Jan Ray, and they were awesome. But when I bought the Jan Ray for the amount of money that it was, I was really trying to convince myself that, oh man, this sounds amazing. And at the end of the day, I didn't think it was stand out. I didn't think it was that different from the other pedals that I had in that category. I didn't think, again, for that money that I was super into it. But, that kind of makes you sweat a bit. It's like, oh, I spent so much money on this pedal. I gotta love it. But with the Kernom, it is a lot of money, but the sounds in it feels like they don't owe you anything. It's like, I can take this sound and use it for a little while, but next thing you know, boom, it's gone. And I've got another sound up. Just as a side note, if you use MIDI with the Kernom, you can save your settings. So if you're stressed out about losing settings that you love, I'd recommend using it with MIDI, which I do. But again, that's why I love the Kernom, is because when I sit down with it, I stop trying to identify with certain sounds and I just listen. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. Just listen to your pedals. If you want to try out the Kernom, I'd recommend that. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening.